Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Liberty Counsel goes to court on behalf of Child Evangelism Fellowship and their Good News Clubs in Minnesota. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. And joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action and also associate dean of the law school. Matt, Liberty Counsel was recently in court. Steve Crampton argued this case in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on behalf of Child Evangelism Fellowship of Minnesota, which is the sponsor of the Good News Clubs. In this particular case, the Good News Clubs have been an approved after-school program for 5 years with no problem at all. But last year, someone complained that the clubs actually read from the Bible and shared the gospel of Jesus Christ with students, and therefore the district notified Child Evangelism Fellowship that its programming was no longer appropriate and refused to allow it equal access to be treated just like the other clubs. Liberty Counsel then filed suit, and that hearing took place recently.
Well, guess what? The school district is wrong, and it's been we've proven that over and over and over again. I'm not sure we've dozens of Child Evangelism Fellowship cases we have defended the Good News Clubs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think without fail we have been successful in every instance.
We've never lost a Child Evangelism Fellowship Good News Club case.
So this is tyranny of the minority. It's a couple things we have going on here. Tyranny of the minority, essentially one or two people coming in and complaining about these Good News Clubs that occur after school hours on campus property, and we know the law says if the school opens itself up for any kind of clubs to come in, the Boy Scouts or any other organization, then they cannot discriminate based on viewpoint. They cannot discriminate against an organization simply because it's Bible believing or is reading Bible verses and so forth. So the school district is wrong here, and for whatever reason, they have as of yet been unwilling to relent.
Well, the school district allows a number of after-school organizations to come on campus, including the Boy Scouts of America, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Catholic Charities, Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota, and others. And there's a clear United States Supreme Court decision that goes all the way back to June 11 of 2001 when it was handed down. And it involves Child Evangelism Fellowships, Good News Clubs, and it involved a school in New York. And there the school said, we're not going to allow Child Evangelism's Good News Clubs on campus because they're Christian, and in fact they read the Bible. So they actually have some sectarian aspect to it, and children learn Bible stories and they learn Christian songs. And the Supreme Court decision said, yes, we know that, so what's your problem with that? And therefore, they ruled in favor of Good News Clubs, and since then, Good News Clubs have been able to go in these elementary schools all over the country. We represent hundreds and hundreds of these situations. We've never lost a case whenever we've gone to court. So the law is pretty clear. Here, they're saying the same thing that the Supreme Court rejected in 2001, 10 years ago. And they're saying, well, you read the Bible, you share the gospel, you can't come on campus, we're going to kick you off.
Well, the Supreme Court was clear. The case you mentioned, Good News Club v. Milford, the United States Supreme Court said, quote, speech discussing otherwise permissible subjects cannot be excluded from a limited public forum on the grounds that the subject is discussed from a religious viewpoint. So basically you have the school district here at odds with the United States Supreme Court. They're not going to win this one.
No, they're not going to win this. And in fact, in the Good News Club case at the U.S. Supreme Court, you had the Boy Scouts on campus, and you had Child Evangelism Fellowship, and they tried to kick out the Child Evangelism Fellowship Good News Clubs. But the Supreme Court said, well, the fact of the matter is you already allowed the subject matter from, just take, for example, the Boy Scouts. They talk about morals, they talk about patriotism, they talk about working together and developing character. And they said that's what Good News Clubs do as well. They talk about morals and developing character. They talk about patriotism, but they do it from a Christian perspective. They sing Christian songs. They read scripture verses, and they're able to do that. You cannot discriminate on their viewpoint simply because it's Christian. Therefore, that school lost in New York, this school is going to lose in Minnesota. We're going to keep you involved in the outcome of this case. But if you know of some other situations around the United States involving good news clubs, I would encourage you to call Liberty Counsel. The phone number is 800-671-1776. You can go to lc.org and send us an email from the website, because these clubs are some of the best things that's happened to the public schools in America. You know, in 1960s, the Supreme Court said you can't read from the Bible over the intercom, and you can't have the Lord's Prayer to start the day. Fundamentally changed American history. But now with these good news clubs, you can go to the public school immediately after school with a high-powered Sunday school. Yeah. And you can do that every day of the week. Unfiltered, uncensored, non-generic presentation of the gospel in these schools. It's clearly constitutional, and I would encourage everyone to get involved in having a good news club in their local public elementary school.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of having been invited and speaking at a Child Evangelism Fellowship fundraiser in Roanoke, Virginia. What a fantastic organization. And, you know, heaven forbid, Matt, these kids, oftentimes these are in inner city areas and where kids are really in need of some good moral teaching and encouragement, come from broken homes. Many of them, they can stay after and be a part of this very positive environment, positive atmosphere. You know, heaven forbid they should be learning about biblical principles and morality. You know, if the ACLU and People for the American Way and other atheist and anti-Christian organizations had their way, these kids should solely, be learning about from groups like Planned Parenthood or GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Association, learning how to, engage in premarital sex and so forth. So we really are at a clash in a clash of worldviews here, and that's why you have groups targeting Child Evangelism Fellowship, targeting good news clubs, essentially for destruction.
That's right. So these are great opportunities. I would encourage you, every time you pass by an elementary school, on your way to work, on your way home, pray for that school, because that is a battlefield for the minds and hearts of these young boys and girls that are very influential. And many of these don't come from church backgrounds or backgrounds where they even have both parents. They may come home. There may be latchkey kids. They're not going to come to your church, so take church to them. And the amazing thing is that whenever you have some of these young boys and girls come to these good news clubs and they give their lives over to the Lord, we've received reports from people who are administrators all across the country that say there is a visible, tangible change in this young boy, this young girl's life. They now respect their fellow classmates. They respect their teachers in a way that they didn't before. And then what ultimately happens is they want to go to church, and they bring their mom or they bring their dad, they bring their parents to the church. So take church to them. If you want to get involved in a good news club, give Liberty Counsel a call at 1-800-671-1776, and we can put you in touch with the international headquarters of Child Evangelism Fellowship, and you can find out what's going on in your local community, Matt. This is a great organization to be a partner with.
Well, Matt, let me ask you this. We have over and over and over and over again, we end up having to go to court on this. We end up having to send demand letters, and every time we walk away victorious. What is it that keeps spurring on this resistance to these good news clubs and these Child Evangelism Fellowship?
Well, there's never going to be a time that you win the battle and it's going to be done. And really, because it's a spiritual issue that's at stake, people don't want the good news of the gospel to be given to these young children or anyone else. So there is that resistance to it, despite the fact that the law is clear, despite the fact that we've never lost a case going into court, and that we've had these cases many, many times, hundreds of them. The fact is, you're still going to have these battles, because you have certain people that they act out of ignorance. They may think that this is what they're supposed to do. But obviously in this particular case, the Minnesota school district officials have been educated. Mm-hmm. They see what the law is, but they will not allow this club, not because they don't understand the law, but because they understand that this club is giving the gospel.
So this is specifically evidence of hostility toward Christianity.
Because there's no rationality to this. Mm-hmm. They will lose this case. And they just want to try to push, and try to stop. Well, the good news is that we're here to help defend Child Evangelism Fellowship at no cost. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. And CEF They don't have the funds to hire lawyers to go out and litigate this kind of activity. So in most cases, if we weren't there, well, in all the cases, really, if we weren't there, they would just be pushed out because they couldn't push back. We're there to stand with them, and we're only there because of you who pray and give financially to support this ministry. So go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Be sure to give a contribution to support the ministry of Liberty Counsel. That is really making a difference around the country. And also, when you go to the website or call, ask for the book, The New England Primer, for a contribution of $7. We'll send this powerful little book to you right away.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.